Hey everybody, it's Lex.
And Jordan for PDQ.com.
Today's Q&A. So you ask the questions, and we attempt to answer them. Is that how we put it?
Yeah, I hope to one day have a beard as majestic as my picture does in that intro.
Yeah.
That's a pretty impressive one, isn't it? Also, can you dye your hair pink like what you have up on your dome as well?
Absolutely. Let's do this.
All right.
Should we do this? Are we going to do this?
See if we can start this.
Let's throw down.
I haven't used this system before, so I'm on deck for questions. So let's give it a go. All right. Many times in AD, we will rename an existing machine while imaging and continue using part of the original name, i.e., inventory number. This results in the same machine existing twice. If wildcards were supported, we could filter and search on *-123456. Sincerely, Matt L.
Hey, Matt. All right. So let's couple of questions on that. First, you're syncing with AD, so you're going to get multiples, right? So that probably means you haven't cleaned up AD and got the old one out. Now, assuming that you couldn't, you could always go into if you go to Options, Preferences under Active Directory, you can make sure you're not syncing disabled computers and disable it. Then the old one won't show up. Now,
so I think that's for if it did get rid of them, but it was still using the same name, just adding a number at the end. It could still remove the old one, but he would still have a hard time without wildcards.
Well, let's do the wildcards. We can do this. So let's just do a dynamic collection using wildcards. So my guess is probably what you're doing is you're looking for all computers that have that start with the letter B. Now, if you do it here with the contains, check it out. You're going to get nothing. Okay. Now, if you go in here instead of using contains, and you go down to matches expression, does not match expression, right? Now, if I do it, I get everything because matches. Excuse me, matches pattern. Sorry.
There we go.
Expression is there we go. Matches pattern. You're going to get the B's. So you could put asterisk dash 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 and get those that way. So again, it's just make sure you test which. Obviously, so I did it two ways where you're not going to get what you expect, but matches patterns can allow you to use that wild card that you're looking for.
And it's not just wildcards. You can basically use anything you can use for regex, I believe. So
regex use the matches expression. That's definitely
regex. Pattern
yeah.
is okay.
Yep. So, all right. Well, hopefully that answered that one for you.
All right. What solution do you guys have to manage a remote workforce, i.e., installed agents on remote desktops/laptops? We are looking into Intune as a solution, but we love PDQ and want to make it work if we can. See Daniel.
Daniel, so normally what we do, again, VPN, we work famously well over VPN. You just have to open the ports across there. Now, to find the port numbers to open across your VPN, there's a couple things. One, you just do look for PDQ firewall ports, okay? And then if you open this, there's the ports we use. You got to open that. Now, we do have a couple of videos, a short one if you're really good at setting up your VPN, that just tells you what you need to do to make sure that this all registers back with DNS and makes it easy for you. The other thing is this. I think, Jordan, we're prepping up for next week to be able to send email out to people who haven't had their machine online in X number of days. Is that what we've been working on for next week?
Yeah, so that when if you do have a VPN but they haven't connected, it will email them as you could email just them or them and you to say, hey, you haven't connected. So just kind of keep it up to date that way.
So we'll be doing that next week, and it might be interesting to help you out, keep your people connecting using VPN. So that's how we do it. As for an agent, I'm going to say it's coming, guys.
And so there's one thing I was actually looking for the link, and I should have known I was wasting my time. Colby put it in the chat. Josh wrote an article about getting your systems to connect to the VPN to work well with the system, to work well with the PDQ. So if you follow the link that Colby put in there, that should give you a great start.
Oh, thanks. Also, you can use remote access server, and I think we've got some blogs about that too. Next.
I'm getting to it.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot of buttons here that I'm not used to pushing. We are using Dell Command Update to update drivers with deploy. Any tips for an inventory collection of devices? Have driver updates complete. Initial thoughts are to have the deployment copy over a .text file for the collection to look for. Ray S.
Now, Ray, you can definitely do that. Now, the other thing I think you can do, and I know you can go look after, you can go look for files and directories. So if you know which ones that you have updated, you can actually come in here, put in the path to wherever they are, Dell.dll, right? And then you can go look for your drivers that way in the scan. And, you can do multiple patterns. Just make sure it's one per line. We've got some videos on how to do these file scans specifically. And you can go look for those. And then it does pull file information so that you can verify and validate that those machines actually do have the latest version of that driver on it. Jordan, thoughts?
Without knowing everything that does update, if it puts something where you could do a WMI scan or a PowerShell scanner, that should also work. But without knowing exactly where it puts that information, when it installs, it should change something that you should be able to scan for with one of our scanners.
Very true.
All right, is there a reason that pre-built packages for Visual C++ 2013 and 2017 don't target Server 2019? Stephen, why?
They don't target it. Let's go pull that up. So what was that again? Visual C? Visual.
You got
Visual.
W's there.
Apparently I got
Visual.
Same thing.
You don't have to get that way about it. That's
Be nice.
so.
guess.
As far as the reasoning, if it doesn't have it by default, we're not really involved in the packaging process. They definitely got there based on some sort of research they've done. I'm just not sure what it is. We can ask the packaging team and maybe get back to that.
Let me show you how you can go find out what conditions are on this. So I just downloaded the package, right? I open it up under conditions. Apparently all versions, it looks like everything's fine there. Let's expand some steps here. Okay, so here we go under conditions. No conditions there. Why it doesn't specifically target those? Yeah, that's a good question. Doesn't look like there's a whole lot of conditions, so I imagine you would be able to deploy this. We're saying on 2019. Should we try sending it to a 2019 server? See what happens? Or am I dragging this on way too long?
Oh, Colby said in the chat, Server 2019 didn't exist when those packages were created.
Oh.
So I guess if they re-downloaded them, it should work at that point then, because it shouldn't exclude them based on what we saw with the conditions.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to send this to Ma Bell. And the question is, am I going to have to look it up or can I spell it correctly? Ha, I did. All right, boom, there it goes. 2019, that's a 2019 server.
Yeah, if it's a condition failure, it will happen real quick. So.
Yep, it's running. Initializing. I think we're successful. Boom.
Okay.
All right. Looks
So
like
that
there's
one-
nothing stopping it, so launch it, my friend,
if it's still
launch
not
it.
working, I'd try re-downloading a new one and try it again. And if it still doesn't work, I would contact support because apparently it should. So.
Yeah.
All right. Have you guys watched the K-12 webcast? Marcel L.
So.
Dude, I don't know if you watched it. I starred in it. I'm just kidding. I didn't watch it, guys.
I was supposed to watch it, but I got so into writing the centering script that I spaced the entire thing. So I had C-level employees swing by to ask me what I thought about it, and the answer was whoops. But
Whoops.
you'll notice how centered all these windows are.
I'm very proud of you.
I don't have a good near as good excuse as Jordan. Okay, maybe I do. I was on with some customers actually showing them the product, so I missed it because I was trying to make some money.
I took the day off.
Yeah,
So
there you go.
there's mine. Yeah.
So,
Okay, Marcel, did you watch it? Did you like it? All
So
right, I guess since he
from-
can't
well,
respond,
No,
We'll
so
wait for
from
the
what I
chat
heard,
now.
Marcel was pretty involved with the questions, similar to the webcast. So Marcel absolutely watched it from what I heard and had some probing questions that really helped move it along, which was awesome.
Good job. Another one from Marcel. Any preparations for Windows 11?
So, and that is the preview out yet? Because without the preview, if they change where they store the information that we grab for all the Windows 10 stuff, we're going to have to change. Like, the collection will be different, and there might be something that should change in the program itself. but until we get the preview, we can't really start testing with that one, or even really guess at what the collection will look like.
Yeah, I think an announcement was made, and then they declared an end-of-life date for Windows 10.
10, yeah.
Which was quite surprising, since they said that Windows 10 was never gonna go away.
Apparently, the ISO has been leaked for Windows 11. Yeah, we don't run off a leaked
we're not
ISO. We
gonna-
need the
Probably
preview.
wait
Yeah.
for the preview yet.
Yeah, we're not putting that on our machines. That's a good way to get to have to send.
So
Uh,
this,
You
Be
start
in
sending
trouble?
sending crypto for a.
I was
yeah,
going to
so they
say,
say the announcement's on the 24th. So on the 24th, if they do have the preview, I'm sure we'll start testing it to try to get everything ready to go for that one. But I mean, with it being an entire new version, we can't really know for sure if everything's going to be different or if we have to find new ways to make it work.
We will let you know. All right, due to heavy remote workforce, we are starting to use a cloud file server that can be mapped as a drive. We might run into permission issues for a PDQ user due to Azure/MFA. I know PDQ doesn't work with online storage, but do you have any tips, or have you played around with a setup like this? Jay Davis.
online storage. I guess the question is, can you UNC path to it? Because we do work well with UNC paths, right, Jordan?
We
I mean-
do, but where he said Azure, we don't work with Azure yet. That's one of the critical things we need to get working.
Well, time out. If you've got a local copy of your AD, right, Azure, or are we just talking Azure storage directly? I mean,
I mean, if you were looking to do it with Azure, it won't necessarily work with our product, but you could build a PowerShell scanner. You just have to make sure you pull down the Azure module, and everything goes into that, and then send it over. And then as far as the credentials go, there's different ways. Like if you have Laps, I believe Laps is in Azure now. I haven't been in there a while, but the credentials would be the biggest hurdle at that point.
I think here the other credentials with Laps, as long as they've got AD that syncs with Laps, a local Active Directory, they should have no problem getting through there. It's just a local copy, I call it local source of truth for credentials. So that's where we'd go.
Yeah,
Take a
so
look.
probably nothing intuitive or native out of the box initially, but with the PowerShell scanner, you probably could be able to cobble something together. It's just going to take a little bit of PowerShell magic.
Yeah.
All right, what is your favorite less known feature of deploying inventory that we should know about? Danny G.
That's easy. You want to go first?
I actually stumbled on this on accident the other day. If you have it installed and you right-click on an executable, you can open it and deploy it, and it will build a package and put the MS executable
Really?
as a new package.
So if I go in here and it installs, there's an executable, right click. Where do I go?
Deploy with PDQ deploy, right under open. Second one
Oh,
down.
right there. Boom. Deploy PDQ.
Yeah, I discovered this on accident the other day, and I thought it was awesome. So it opened the window on the bottom there.
Verb
there
with
we go.
noun. I like
New
that.
package. Hey, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, so it's an EXE. You're then going to have to put in your
Silent parameters.
your parameters. But if it's an MSI, it will fill that out automatically for you.
I
thought that
like
was
this.
pretty
It also warns you about a UNC path is recommended because C's not. Yeah, I like it. That's
Super
cool.
nifty.
I'll tell you, my favorite is variables. We have been able to do so many things because we can store and change data using variables, and that's in deploy and inventory under options variables. Obviously, we don't have any here. I think I've got some already set up in inventory, custom variables, and approved apps. So, that approved apps list, if you watched, I don't know, it was a couple of webcasts ago, we did an approved list of software, and because of this value, it was really easy for us to go add more approved software, and then we could do a bad app report. So variables are my personal favorite.
In the chat, Kobe put a link to a webcast we did about lesser known features as well that we kind of highlighted a few of those.
That's true.
Sorry, guys, I was messing with questions. Here we
You
go.
you were enjoying the answer so much.
I really was.
We're killing it.
I had to really bask in it. All right. When was PDQ first launched? I'm using from 6 years as free version, and last 4 years we bought the license. That we love this gem, Shaji.
All
All right. When was it first launched? PDQ. I mean, I guess originally when
AA
I came
console,
aboard, we
right?
were admin Arsenal, and it was AA console. We had just barely
No,
retired.
we were still We had done PDQ. Let's see. I beta tested PDQ deploy.
Mm-hmm.
It might have been inventory. I think it was deploy though in 2010.
Mm-hmm.
So we're coming up on 11 years if we're talking beta. Probably 10 for the actual release of 1.0, 1.1, whatever it was.
Yeah.
It's come a long ways, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some amazing features that have come along the way. It keeps growing and getting better. I love it.
It's had some good staying power for sure.
Yeah. When I interviewed at the job, I'd never used our products, and after I learned everything about them, I'm furious. I could have done so much automation easier with these. I wish I had used them before I worked here. I wish I was a customer first.
Would have been nice. All right. Sorry, I'm putting another question in.
I would just
can't
say,
do two things at once.
You know, the interesting thing with it is if I would have had current versions of PDQ in my previous job, I would have done nothing because I would have automated absolutely everything in my job.
That's what I was doing at the end anyway.
All right, we can take one now. Hey guys, just curious if there's any further status updates on using full MS SQL with deploy and inventory. Thanks. I didn't put the name on this one, but there you go.
All right. So can you use MS SQL with deploy and inventory? Currently, no. It's SQLite. Now, I guess you could shoehorn some stuff into SQL using PowerShell, but that wouldn't be native. I do know that there has been a ton of discussion about, possibly moving over to SQL and that. So, yeah, guys, we'll let you know as we know where that's going to be moving.
With existing products, I'd be surprised if we moved off of SQLite, but with the new products where we're working towards, we can't answer for sure, but it's a possibility. And until we know more of the design that's going into it, we can't be 100% certain.
Is there an easy way to check the size of a specific folder on a remote computer? Danny G.
I know we can do that in PowerShell. We did profile sizes. Jordan, first
Is there
thing
a pre-built PowerShell scanner that we have?
Is there?
I'm not sure if it's one of the pre-built ones, and I'm
don't know why
drawing a
I'm
blank on
up
the
here. I'm
command, but
trying
there
to-
is it's like get child item that I believe if you grab a specific file, it will give you the size of it in there.
Okay, so we'd build a PowerShell folder size, right? And then you'd either script it in here or grab the file that you wrote to pull that.
Yeah, so
And then you'd be able to pull that file size on every machine.
I'm
or that
going to
folder
say
size.
when I'm drawing a blank, which this is a common command, it's kind of embarrassing, but get child item will probably grab all that information. You might need to, just select that one specifically if you're only looking for the size of the file, and it's probably just going to be in bytes, so you're going to have to convert it.
Check the chat.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Kobe has one there. That's for the user profile size.
Okay.
Frank
You could
copied
probably
in there.
modify it.
And I was
Yeah.
going to say, that's what I do. I plagiarize. I find something close and then change it till it does what I need.
So in the chat, JB said new products. I don't mean like anything with the product that we're coming out with where we're trying to expand for new user demands that came out recently. Might be changing. We're not sure of that one.
All right. Why does a collection with a filter for PC name that contains B wildcard not show the computer, but a collection that uses a matching pattern with B wildcard show them? Jay Davis.
I think it's just the way that the SQL is evaluated on the back end. That's why.
Yeah, I think contains is literal. Does it contain a B and an asterisk where matches pattern is where it starts looking outside of that.
So again, if we were to do this, right, computer name contains B. If I run this bad boy, we're going to get, there's a B in Bell, there's a web, right, all over the place here. So that B's anywhere in there, right? So that'd be like matches pattern star B star, right? That's why it contains, would do that. Again, I guess we could do that same exact thing with matches pattern and put a star in front of it just to verify this, right? Star in front, a star behind. Whoop. Apparently I used too many clicks there. And a star, and we would get we'd get the same thing as contains, right? So contains, I imagine the SQL evaluates with the star in the front and the back. So that's why I would do it and just use matches pattern with your. So. There you go.
How do I stop deploy from trying to hit machines that already have the apps deployed to? Darren S.
All right, so let's do this. I'm not sure what app you're looking for, but let's say just because I am really good at doing a 7-zip dynamic collection, we're going to go find all the machines, right, that have an application that name contains 7-zip, right? And then I guess I can drag that out so that my OCD is okay. Oh, almost there. Okay. Whew, we almost had out of control there for a second. Now, when you, again, the question is, how do I deploy to machines that don't have that, right? So if I had 7-zip on here, let's go grab 7-zip, right? I guess the two ways you can go about this is, one, we can deploy to any machine that is not a member of that, right? So we download this, and I can go add a condition and then just launch it out. There's a couple ways, obviously, to go about this, right? Properties, condition is not a member of 7-zip, right? So now this will install on machines that need, well, obviously it's going to take a second to queue up, but now it'll be able to be installed on any machine that does not have 7-zip on it already. So there's one way to go about it, right? And then you could deploy it out. You could also, the other way I'd go about it is just go build another dynamic collection to find the machines that don't have 7-zip, right? So again, I just duplicated that. We'll go missing 7-zip. Now, this is a little more tricky with filters, just because if I go in here and I say does not contain 7-zip, you're not going to get what you want, because this is going to evaluate every application name that doesn't contain 7-zip. So if there's any software on there that doesn't contain 7-zip, you're going to get them, when all you want is just machines that don't have 7-zip. So go find all the machines that have 7-zip, but don't return me any from that sub filter. And that should give us 45 machines that don't have 7-zip. And if I look under bub, no 7-zip. That centering didn't work, Jordan. Make a note on that bad boy.
On that one, the computer window, I did miss that one. Sorry, I'll get that one.
So anywho, that's how I do it. I do the collection this way and then deploy directly to machines that don't have 7-zip. So kind of a long way to go about it, but at least, there's a couple of routes you can go to make that happen. So.
No, so we can get that. There's a couple of other things on that one where if you look at some of our pre-built collections, we have, because that one's going to be 7-zip no matter what, but if you're only looking at updated ones that have an older version, you can copy the collections we have there and modify it to the software you need.
Surprisingly, there already is a 7-zip collection, but I just wanted to demonstrate. But yeah.
Yeah, so latest, so you can base off the old one there. And the last thing is, if it's running on a schedule, you can check a box that says don't deploy if it's successfully deployed already from the schedule.
Absolutely.
How can we verify which DFS server is used in a deployment, Darren B?
How can you determine which DFS server? I think you'd probably... All right, so DFS basically works, it's going to use the least cost path, right? So let's say you got Site 1 and Site 2, right? Site 2 authors, and we'll say Site 2 DFS server is on Site 2. When you send the namespace, because what you end up doing, excuse me, in your deployments, is you're going to come in here, and I do believe I've got this set up on DFS still. Let's check. Options. Oh, I probably should close down this here. Nope, there we go. Did I almost do it? I almost did it. All right, there we go. No, don't save that. All right, options, preferences, repository. Nope, we're not on DFS. But what you end up doing, right, once you get it on DFS, you're going to be doing pull, which sends the instructions to resolve where the end node's going to pull it, and that namespace is going to get resolved by DFS to the closest machine. I would imagine you probably have to take a look at, I'd start looking through the event logs. I don't know, Jordan, any thoughts? That's where I would go. Just start looking for that.
I can't think of anything off the top of my head how to make sure it's coming from a specific one outside of, I don't know, I guess you could have a, well, if you're doing a poll, it's going to be on your machine no matter what, so you can't even really write a PowerShell that kind of copies the path of something on that one. So I can't think of anything on that one. I'd have to dive in and mess with it to see if I could come up with something.
How's that for a kind of not
For an
really an answer?
I would drink, but I'm out.
We'll push you in the
Certainly
right
something.
direction, maybe. I don't know. Good question, Darren.
Should I blindly run great the uninstall Google Chrome per user package across computers, or is there a more strategic method for per user apps?
Champ.
So I don't know about the Chrome specifically. I know the Firefox, that is loading unused registry hives for all users, not just the current user, which is risky. I don't know if Chrome follows the same thing. So the answer for like the Firefox, I can say blindly know the risk of what you're doing, because it is loading and unloading hives that aren't active when it's doing it. If there's a better way for AppX, you can now get all users on that, but for something like Chrome, I'm not so sure, other than it's going to be installed in a different location if it's per user, so you could write something to look specifically there. I'm not sure exactly how that one works, though.
I don't like blindly. I would never do anything blindly, but
That's all I have to say.
So Lex, can I have you download the Chrome per user, the uninstall? I just want
by
to take a
all
look at what it, because if it's looking at the user profile itself,
mm-hmm.
then it's probably not a lot of risk on that one. But
Yeah,
let's take a look and see what it does.
We're really going to dig that one open. Huh? I love it. All right. Step 1, stop Chrome. I'm familiar with that one.
Yep.
Uninstall.
Looks like it's a script you're going to have to open.
Server cannot find file. Did I open this too soon?
Yeah, I don't think it was done.
Okay, let me try that again.
Huh. Well, that's a bad sign.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, I would do this again, like Jordan said, read that script to see if it's going after it, loading user hives. So,
Yeah, so if it's like the Firefox and it's loading user hives, it'll probably work, but just know the risk in that. If it's doing a different way where it's looking in the user profile for the file to run the uninstall there, that's pretty common in PowerShell. I mean, if we didn't see it successful, we wouldn't have put it in the package library, so there's some trust there, but definitely it's one, I mean, read and verify.
We'll call that answered. How can I count dual display users in AD with inventory? KT.
how can I count dual display users in AD?
So I don't know about in AD, but I believe that the displays that they have set up on their machine is a WMI query you can find. So you could probably write a WMI query or a WMI scanner that go through and look for that.
Do we have any that have duals on here that can pop
No,
up?
because they're all
They're all VMs.
virtuals. Yeah.
Microverse? No. Is that duals?
I don't even think that's turned on anymore, is it?
Yeah. I don't-
Oh, it is.
Collections, displays. Here we go.
Those are going to.
There we go.
there
That
you
one's
go.
got 2 Dells plugged into it.
It did
At
at
least
one
as of the
time,
last
One time.
scan.
which was when we had the old studio.
Yeah.
You can check. Is Jimmy McGill up and running?
Let's
Because
see
that
what
one
we
has,
got.
I think, 3. When was the last time we ran a scan or ran a?
I scanned this morning a sync we haven't run in a while.
Oh, a sync. That's probably
So I
what it is.
probably need
Yes.
to sync. Should we try and just add
Let's
Jimmy real
try
quick?
a sync. Yeah.
Are you really okay? So
So
we're
that's
gonna run
another-
a sync. Here's the thing. We're gonna get all the bad stuff I never cleaned up out of here. Here goes. Boom.
Have fun.
It'll be fun. You guys
Well, you
can
got
see just
it's
how.
set to mix, so it's not going to delete anything.
Well, it'll give us anything new that's in there. Okay, Jimmy
Yep.
McGill, right? Oh, I guess I should look under all the machines.
It's probably
Over
been there the whole time.
Jimmy McGill. There we go. Jimmy's on. There you go.
Yeah.
Bunch of monitors.
There you go.
All right. Okay, we do have that. So I guess we don't need the WMI scanner.
In your face, Jordan. Ha!
All
I
right.
must be wrong.
If I have one bucket and my files are in another bucket, how many buckets can PDQ use? Asking for that guy, not sure. I think this was in regard to a previous question about the remote folders, I think. I don't know.
If I have a bucket and my files are in another bucket, how many buckets can PDQ use? If we're talking about files that you're using to deploy, you can have your stuff, and I wouldn't do this, you can scatter it anywhere as long as you got a UNC path to it and you've got credentials to grab it. The files can be anywhere. Like I built some off my desktop, which is a horrible place to do that, right? And you can, I suggest put them in the repository, keep them in, one bucket. But yeah, what, you just sitting there laughing at me, Jordan? What?
No, I was just laughing because I do stuff off my desktop all the time as well, even knowing it's not.
It's just bad juju, right?
But also, we're not system administrators, so anything we're doing is for a lab environment. So it's less critical, but it's probably bad practice that we're doing.
That is true. That is true. So, again, when you go to build your package again, your install step, let's go find something, I don't know, anywhere. We can go users. You know what I'm saying? You can grab it from anywhere. So, again, best practice, put it in a repository. I would highly suggest you build a custom folder as a sub of your repository so that when it comes time to clean up, you don't mess with anything in that custom folder. So, there you go. A little bit of wisdom for you. Maybe.
You guys ready for some feature requests?
All right.
No.
You setting yourself up for it?
No.
You may
Yeah,
be
go
able
for
to
it.
get some of these. All right.
Let's do it.
Ha. When will we get the option to see a diff between scans and a sense of what changed?
You can do it now. It's just not native. So you're going to do a scan, and then what you
Gonna make a CSV.
there you go. Make a CSV. Pump it out.
Lean is not keeping a history, so we would have to start keeping a history for that, and I don't know if
Yeah.
there are plans.
If you create your own history, yes, you could just
Yeah.
pump out a CSV every time you run a scan.
Yeah, and then as Colby said, you could do it as an auto report and then just have PowerShell that can go and do a diff on that one, or there's various tools. But natively within the product, I don't see us moving to keeping a history.
That would make a very large database.
It would. Probably does not bode well with the current. The fact that we're,
The light.
as you
footprint.
called out earlier, we are not using the Microsoft SQL.
Yeah.
Sorry, my cat decided to start moving the microphone.
Join the webcast today.
Part of that, yeah. Part of the foibles of doing this from home. All right, next feature request. Any plans for adding MDM features to better enable low code provisioning? Alan R. I think it's mobile device management.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Probably not within deploy and inventory.
Well, MDM, I guess, in the future, I mean, here's the thing, right? We're moving towards an agent, moving towards that kind of thing. Eventually, if we had an agent that could read, mobile devices, I don't see why we wouldn't. So, I mean, I
That's a
think
big
that's
if.
that's a big if, guys.
Because we
I
would
think-
require that agent endpoint to actually work on mobile devices, and so
Well-
no promises there, right? That's a completely
I mean,
separate code
theoretically,
base.
let's just talk theoretically about this, right? If I can't tell them where and how would I go about it? So you'd have to have, obviously your Android, you'd have to have a agent for your, iPhone, and then, I think that agent would be able to talk to those. We'd be able to pass data back and forth. So, I mean, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities, but that, again, it's a big what if. It's a big if there. So.
Yeah, it's one of those. I know we have big plans, and some of it's going to be great, but we can't nail down exactly what's going to be in the first iteration of the big plans, whether it's MDM or not. So, I mean, if the demand's high enough, obviously we'll look at it, but we don't know when that would be available.
I'm being told internally that we need to stop promising agent. We are currently ideating. We'll leave it that way.
All righty then.
I don't know. We're working on. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. We are ideating currently. We will, once we have something solidified, we can perhaps give more information. All right, another feature request to make you guys happy. interactive sunburst charts. This can be particularly useful with the understanding varying driver versions across a particular computer model or integrated technology make and model, especially if you need to be on a particular version, not the latest version. Hello, Wi-Fi. Thoughts?
So, I mean, it's definitely not in the product, but if you have a bit of software that builds those kind of charts that you can like query with an API, it would probably be possible to take the information with the SQL query with our database of your scan and with the API put that into their software. But that's, I mean, I've never dealt with those kind of charts. That's all theoretical. If they have an API, it would be possible to configure on your side, but I don't know exactly what would go into that.
I got nothing.
Here's one you guys can probably do now. I don't know if this may not even be a feature request. You could probably pull it off. Are there any plans for sharing variables between deploy and inventory?
You know, you can do that. Well, okay. Currently, we've got some webcasts that actually have us using the same name variable in both, and then we do use PowerShell to make the adjustments between the two. So you can do it now. It's, you know, it takes a little bit of initial setup. So, you know, I think you look under, what's that, automating packages that aren't in your package library. That would do it, and I believe you can do that from the command line, right, Jordan? We can change variables or update variables from the command line for both deploy and inventory.
Yeah, we do it a lot when we built the automated packages that aren't in the package library. One of those PowerShell scripts has a part where it updates the variables of both products based on what was in the information. So using the bottom part of that to update that shouldn't be difficult. It's just making sure you're grabbing the same information. I don't know if you want one to be like the resource of record where you could query one, pull that down, and push it to the other product. And that's just something you could run in the background. It wouldn't be resource intensive.
Yeah.
That was the last question, by the way, or feature request, by the way. So we can go ahead and wrap this up.
Well, we had Craig in the chat saying he noticed we weren't in the studio.
That's
again.
Right.
Yeah,
we aren't.
Construction. We should be back next week.
Construction, and we're single threaded on who can operate this show. It's a pretty complex one now, with all the buttons and whistles. So, all right, why don't you guys take
we're gonna wrap it up.
proverbial camera. We'll call it
2.
camera 1 now because that's just what it is.
Camera 1 now.
Only camera.
Only camera.
Yeah.
Well, hey guys, I do appreciate the questions you guys had coming in. Hopefully you got something good out of this, and we'll catch you guys later. I'm Lex.
I'm Jordan.
PDQ.
Thank you for being a part of our webcast today. If you had questions that we were not able to get to today, feel free to reach out to our support forums. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you back here next week.